All right. Have to go find your bliss in a pile of laundry. Ooh, I have a suggestion for that. And it maybe only works in other situations, but I realize that if I come back from a festival and I've got all sorts of dirty stuff and it's daunting and dirty clothes and I just, the idea of cleaning up all this crap that I brought, if I instead don't think of it as a cleaning process, but think of it as a review, and go through the things and try to remember each time I touched or wore this thing, maybe the time I got it dirty or stained it, it allows me to revisit these joyful experiences and bring them into my now. So instead of my now being about a task that I don't want to do, my now becomes an opportunity to bring in memories of joy into the now. I go, oh yeah, oh that was awesome, sweet. Oh, I remember, oh wow, I shouldn't be touching this. I need rubber gloves. Yeah, there's also something to be said for cycles of bliss, and that, you know, while as fun as Utopia was, I think if I lived there, in the same way that if I'm listening to a tone, I will stop hearing it after a while. Or if there's a wonderful smell or a wonderful food, at some point you stop tasting it or smelling it, and the same is true with joy. That you have to take a break and change activities, allow yourself to come back to baseline so that you can then, it's a roller coaster. A roller coaster that stays high, it's not very fun. We click, 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 click. Let's see. Anybody else go to Utopia or something else this weekend that had a magical experience that you'd like to share? One of the really cool things I had there was a sculpture that it didn't even occur to me. It never occurred to me to do this thing, but there was it was set up so that you could hang from it in all these different ways. It was a type of stretching that was incredible. Like sometimes I'll lie on the bed and hang my head over in certain ways so that the gravity will stretch me in these amazing ways. But this sculpture, because of all these ways that you could hang on it, was I'm like, oh my gosh, I need one of these. Esther was part of a wedding. So was Bridie. Bridie, did your daughter marry someone that Esther knows? Or two separate weddings? Belicious was at a wedding too. Sachi's been doing Halloween costumes. Sweet. Piratey met a monkey and a pirate. Sweet. And a rope swing. Nice. I heard that the pendulum swing was removed after an injury, which actually, the minute I saw it, I was like, how many people have been hurt on this thing? Esther did a reading at the wedding. Cool. Piratey made mojitos in the rain. That sounds kind of magical. Leo had sunrise on the Cavallo pirate ship with horses, eating candied ginger, dancing with friends. Ah. Bridie, yours was in England. Okay, well that's a long commute for Esther. Thank you, Sachi. I knew that eventually. Oh, Sonia's wedding. Cool. And you did a Crapper Cone-based speech. That's awesome. Well, that's beautiful to hear. It was amazing how much Crapper Cone had a presence at Utopia. I had somebody wrote it on the bar. Piratey said that she overheard somebody relaying the concept at the bar, not knowing that she was there or I was there. They were just, talking about Crapper Cone. I had easily a dozen people, more than a lot of people, come up to me and say that how much it's been a part of their speech lately. The coolest one though was, as I was walking around, a gentleman ran up to me and was like, "Oh, hey, I want to introduce myself. I want to let you know that I've been using Crapper Cone with my daughter, and she's 7, I think, and she's been frustrated with school, and so we talked about Crapper Cone, and now when she comes home from school, I ask her to tell me what the ice cream scoops of her day were." I just thought that was so awesome. I got to meet her, and she was adorable, and I said, "You're one of the ice cream scoops of my day." And then I threw dog crap at her, just to give her some context. No. The wedding guests loved it. Sweet. Yeah, I think it. It is. It's so easy to for me, it is such a quick recalibrator. So it was cool to hear other people go, "Man, it's amazing." Like my friends and I now will just go cone if somebody starts complaining. I was like, "That's what I do for myself. That's so cool." Dennis, that's so cool that the conversation allowed an old friend to get in touch with you. That's interesting. I'm starting to do some coaching now, and I'm lucky that the people that I've been working with have been very much cone focused for the most part, and I think that's one of the things that I want to enjoy helping people on is truly focusing on the cone and reframing things so that you can grant you the serenity to accept the things you cannot change, courage to change the things you can. So if there's crap that can be dealt with, how can it be dealt with? But if it's not something that you can work on, or it's something that you have to accept, then how can you minimize its negative impact in your life? And so there's a few people that have talked to me about coaching, and when they let me know their story of how they're doing, I mean, they seem to be so deep in a story of suffering that I'm trying to figure out if it's something that I'm suited to help them with, or if there's a different type of therapy, talk therapy that's more about processing the story. I don't know. I definitely don't want to be working in a way that doesn't serve both of us. So it's something I got to continue talking to them about. Yes, Sachi, we were going to talk. Sorry about that. It was a busy week last week. But let's shoot an email after the broadcast. And Pirate and I were just looking online to find some mailing tubes to send out posters, and I think we've got that figured out. So I think maybe we'll just if you want to, I'll put something on the Hug Nation Facebook page about the posters, and with some instructions, and then I'll remind people next week about how to do that, or what the best way to get those if you're still interested in getting some and have a place to post them. Think about where they might be going. Barry had a great suggestion of colleges would be a great place to pop them up. That might be a great audience, but maybe you have another suggestion of a local place that people could hand a little Crapper Cone poster. Link Monkey. The spoon theory. Now I'm blanking on what the spoon theory is. See how present I am? I have no idea what we talked about in the past. I actually, before Utopia, I put up Yoga Studio is a good idea. I posted something where I said, "Hey, I'm sorry, just as a heads up, that if I forget your name, I'm sorry. I meet a lot of people. My memory is getting worse and worse, and I forget almost everyone's name, and I sometimes forget meeting people. Part of that is because I like to stay up late and get silly, and sometimes I'm not totally Anyway, point is, I don't always remember everyone that I've met. And so I wanted to say, look, that doesn't mean that I'm not present. You know, like I have these incredibly deep connections with people, and sometimes the next day I don't always even remember them, or even a few weeks later I'm like, I don't remember exactly what I talked about, but and so I wrote something saying, my apologies, feel free to remind me, and I hope that you know that it's not an indication of how intense or how much I value that connection, or it's no slight on you. It's simply the fact that my biology is not keeping up with me. My heart is growing, but my mind is shrinking. And I got some really good responses. It was funny this weekend. I could tell there were people that had read it and were introducing themselves. And the way they introduce themselves, I know we've met before. Like, they're being kind, and I appreciate it. But I would try to say, "Oh, it's good to see you again." It was nice for people to be so kind to me. Some people, you know, in their responses, there's one person specifically that was like, you know, look, I'm not going to feed your ego. I'm not going to wait in line to say hi to you. You know, I'm the diva. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't really, I'm not asking you to, I'm not asking anything of you. I would love to give you a hug, but I don't, you know, I hope it comes from a place of service. I don't want anything from you except that maybe your happiness. And if I ever ask you for something, it's generally because I think that it would be helpful to you. Like, you know, if I say, oh, I'd love you to buy my book, it's, you know, I don't get rich on that. It's more that I think it would be a great tool. But I recognize that what you said, and I understand that I don't like to wait in lines either for anything, let alone a hug. Although, I did one time wait in line all day for a hug. So I shared the story of meeting Amma, the hugging saint, and how I, you know, drove to LA, spent all day in waiting for a hug from her. And, well, I'm sure that she would love to have the hug be more casual and in a sacred setting. You know, the circumstances of her life were such that I had to wait in line, and it had to be in the Hilton Airport Hotel ballroom. And that's, you know, that's just part of the reality of a physical world that has limited time and space. It's not an indication of her love. Clearly, she's got immense amounts of love to share. And so, not that I'm in any way comparing myself, but it's an interesting. Sometimes, you know, like after I do a talk at Burning Man, I ask people, if you've got time, I'd love a hug, but I can't hug everybody at once, so there is a little bit of a delay, and people have to wait a few minutes. And so I think that's what she was talking about. And so I was kind of like, well, I hope that if you have to wait for a hug from me, that it's because, you know, it's a joyful waiting, and that it's to allow me the experience of a hug for you or with you. And not because I'm asking you to, you know, fan my ego in some way. But it was good to be aware of. Also, that was a good reminder for me, because at the Hug Nation this weekend at Utopia, somebody that wasn't there, but they said, oh yeah, I heard you gave your talk, and I heard it was very much about I. And I was like, oh, that's good feedback. I definitely was telling stories about things that I have learned. But it's good to hear that it came across that a little bit too me for them. Leo said, also, you can hug the people in line while waiting for a hug. That is exactly, you know, that one of the joys of having a live Hug Nation is that means everybody that's there is part of this vibration, and so you can meet those people and hug them, and that's the big magic, I think. So yeah, excellent point, Leo. Thanks for all the hugs this weekend, by the way. Hugs are worth waiting for, like ketchup. So it is. Hug Deli is a good example too. Hug Deli was not at San Diego, was it, this weekend? But it was at LA. Got to work as chefs at the Hug Deli. That was great. Sachi, you give me a gift every time you're present here. This is the deepest, most profound gift. So thank you for being a part of today. Thank you for aligning your vibration with this group vibration, this group intention, this reminder of who we are, this reminder of who our highest self is, and that what we first are is vessels of love. And if we can remind ourselves that first and recognize that there's a lot of us out there, then we can settle into whatever tasks, whatever roles, whatever responsibilities that we do, whether it's our jobs or families or anything, any project, that if we can be a vessel of love first, then we simply need to be present, align with love, and have integrity, and things will flow beautifully. So thank you for that reminder, and that will, and that discipline, and that love. Have an amazing day. Good chance we're going to skip the happy hour, but we'll see. If not, I'll put up an archive from this weekend and from this afternoon, and send lots of love to your world.